Welcome to Denteamology Live, where we're talking teams and its optimization through great leadership. I'm your host, Dr. Becky Chen, and in this episode number 5, we are going to be talking to the very well-known Dr. Kinnar Shah. Now, I'm super excited because this episode is the very last episode of the year of 2020, and today, the format's just going to be a little bit different. So today what I've got is, in preparation for 2021, I'm going to be asking Dr. Kinnar Shah 21 questions, and they're just going to be fired out bang, bang, bang. And we're just going to spend about maybe 2 to 3 minutes each on each of them. And at the very end, we normally don't do a Q&A, but today we are going to do a Q&A at the very end as well. So if any of you have any questions or anything that pops up where you want more elaboration, please feel free to type your questions into either the Facebook Live or through the YouTube Live. And then, we can answer them all at the very end. Okay, so welcome, Kinnar. Absolute pleasure. Yeah, welcome on board. And look, I'm so pleased that we can do this with you today, because as you know, you're actually a very special person in my life, because you were the person that actually jump-started me, and that's what I always say, you were the person that jump-started me into the area of personal development. And like, without you, seriously, I would not be where I am today. And I still remember the time when we did those 2-3 day sessions where we sat down and you just went through everything with me and just uncovered everything. And I'm sure you've taken lots of other people through the same journey and beyond as well. So thank you so much for doing this with me today.
Thank you, Becky. Thank you for inviting me to your show. Wonderful show. I'm looking forward to adding as much value today, and hoping your questions are not that difficult, right? So take it easy on me, right? And I'm just hello to everyone who's tuning in also, and thank you for taking your time to listen to us.
Beautiful, excellent. So without further ado, let's get started. Yeah, you ready?
Shoot. Let's go.
So my very first question for you, Kinnar, is what is the best way to plan for 2021 with your team at the moment?
With your team?
Yes.
What do you mean, what's the best way?
Sorry. So like, if we're going to plan for 2021, who should we involve in the planning process for next year, and what should we be doing?
Everyone. Involve everyone. Everyone is a valuable member of your team. There is no hierarchy. I always tell that to people while I'm training to you. As much as we have some positions in our practices, some of us may call it practice managers or front team leaders and back team leaders, but at the end of the day, everyone plays a huge role in our practice. So involve everyone. That's part 1. Part 2, what you should be discussing is, again, I'll keep repeating possibly throughout this, is the 10 things. I've written this in my book. Number 1, discuss with them briefly your marketing strategies and the reason for that. Always go over your mission statement and your value statements first, and what your dream is. Remember, when we are planning and talking about 2021, either business or personal, you need to have a dream, because without a dream, nothing is possible. And you have to dream, and then you have to believe in that dream that you can achieve it, right? So for example, if you have seen, you do need to start by talking about how your 2020 has gone, and just encourage and inspire everyone that everyone has had a tough time. The whole world, it's not just the practice, the whole world is going through a tough time, but just make them understand that we are super excited for 2021 and the goals for marketing. How many new patients do you want to see? So if, for example, if you're seeing 20, 30 new patients consistently in the last, let's just say 4 or 5 months since we've all gone back to work, maybe increase that goal by another 20 patients a month, another 30 new patients a month. So keep a little bit more, aim a little bit higher. Don't just aim for a couple of patients a bit more per month. Also aim for targets. What targets? Like quarterly, like have a yearly target, have quarterly targets. You want to grow for a minimum by 20-30%. Ideally, I get practices to grow over 50 to 80%. If the things are into place, and it's possible, right? So inspire your team that it's possible. Talk about your reviews, goals. Talk about your 7-star delivering 7-star customer service. Talk about those kind of goals. So all these things, you need to plan it out. Talk about the team culture as well. Talk about, do bring also that how you're going to help each other. We are there to help each other. And at the end of the day, make them understand that we are all in this together. And 2021 is going to be successful. Always use positive language. And it's going to be successful. And as leaders, as practice owners, you want to assure them that you are there for them. Period.
Yes.
Does that
Yeah, absolutely. And so would you do this in just a team setting?
Yeah, tea setting, just put it together. Just get some bitings, foods, coffees or wines, whatever you prefer. Minimum an hour session. If not 90 minutes, minimum 60. Because remember all the things I just mentioned. Everything will take at least about 3 to 5 minutes to speak about, right? So all these things, minimum an hour. And everyone needs to do this before they go for a Christmas break. So somehow find 60 minutes. Do not end this year without having that meeting. Because as a leader, you need to show them that you're a dreamer, you're a visionary. You have to show them that you are planned for 2021, and you're not just going to step in on the first week of 2021, right? Assuming that everything's the same as 2020. No, leave them with some inspiration, leave them with some motivation, leave them with the energy and the enthusiasm to come back.
Yes. That's actually a really good, and I think you've just probably given a lot of people in the audience a challenge now, because right now, as we all know in Australia in the dental industry, everyone is so busy. And so if you haven't blocked out that time, it's like trying to find that time where everyone can get together now is going to be a bit tough. But yeah, definitely we should all be doing that, shouldn't we?
Make it happen. 60 minutes, make it happen. I mean, even if you need to pay everyone an extra hour early in the morning or something, make it happen, by the way, when it's fresh, not there at the end of the day, or just block out at least 1 hour during lunchtime and just everyone comes together. But definitely, please, I'm just encouraging everyone to do it.
Fantastic. Yes, that's very, very good advice. Okay, so next question. How do we effectively position our businesses in the current climate, to our patients in 2021?
Branding and marketing goes without saying. Everyone needs to be branding the hell out of their practices. Dynamics are going to change in 2021. A lot of people have suffered in 2020. I mean, you may not know the full perspectives or economic perspectives, but a lot of businesses are going to be closing down. There are talks that some of the businesses, up to 20%, are just surviving on job keepers. And that when that finishes, they will very likely close down, right? And that means the spending power may reduce, right? So anyone who is not branding and marketing will be destroyed much more faster. So people need to understand that this is the time. I'm encouraging every dentist to understand this subject of marketing. You need to understand what branding means and what marketing means. And, like anything in life, if, either you're a business operator or a business owner. If you're a business owner, you need to know about branding and marketing. You can't just say, I don't know anything about marketing, right? Like I'm about to give a seminar end of January. I probably know no one has ever given dentists a seminar on marketing and branding. I'm giving them a seminar this end of January, 31st in Brisbane. I talk about something called the patient value journey, right? Like how to, the entire way to market the patient and take them from all the way from to promoting your business. So all the way from getting to know who you are, all the way till they become a loyal fan of your business, right? So there's a lot involved. There's social media marketing, content marketing, AdWords, PPC, SEO, and you got to know this. I mean, it doesn't mean you need to do it, but as a business owner, you need to have the knowledge about it. Like if you do not have this knowledge, and the people who will have the knowledge will dominate, will compete, will win the race, right? So it's super important to come and learn this knowledge about marketing and branding, and that's how you will position yourself in the marketplace in front of patients, right? And we all know, and all of us have been talking about how the competition has increased between dental practices and all that. But it's not time to talk anymore. It's time to take that matter into your hand, learn about it. And now when I'm talking about learning, like I'm kind of, when I speak to dentists and even successful practices, I'm pretty confident to say that most dentists do not know more than 20-30% of knowledge in marketing and branding. There's so much to learn. We know about all the other stuff, right? Marketing and branding is not just about making a social media post on Instagram and Facebook. There's much more to it. The people need to know what funnels are. People need to know what content creation is, and come to the seminar if you want to know more, or read whatever you do. Learn and educate yourself on marketing and branding. That's my giveaway.
That's great. And if there was going to be a particular type of marketing that people should be doing now, in your opinion, where is the best area to invest the money into right now?
Okay. So number one, and this is a very bold claim I'm about to make, and dentists need to hear this because I am obsessed about this. 90 to 95% of practices in Australia have got a mediocre to a shitty website. And it's like, remember, you will have more guests coming online to your internet home, which is your website, more than your real home. And and whenever you have guests coming to your home, you clean the hell out of the house, right? You make everything tidy. But what are you doing about your website? There are about sometimes 5,000-10,000 people coming to your websites every day. And these guys are coming and bouncing off because your website is not positioned enough to invite or influence them to call, because remember, the purpose of the website is to call them, right? So the first point I'm going to make there is that get your websites A-class. I mean, I tell people you want another 20, 30, what we call grade A patients. Grade A patients are people who are wanting higher end treatments, clear aligners, implants, more full comprehensive treatment, veneers, cosmetics. I mean, most dentists I talk to want that kind of patients. I mean, don't you? Right? Yeah. Right? Everyone wants us. So get your website reflecting that you are the person to come to. And there is a strategy. Again, I'm talking about this one in the seminar, but there's a strategy to it. Learn the strategy. I mean, whatever it takes, because if you don't do it, your neighboring competitive dentists will do it, and they'll win more patients. So that's one. Where do you spend most of the money then to come to the website would be definitely AdWords first. Right? SEO is an ongoing process. SEO takes months and months, but you have to do it. And nowadays, social media is taking a hike. Like, how many times do we all spend, during a period of a day on the phone, right? Compared to what we were doing back in the day, we're checking more emails. But now we check less emails, but more Facebook, more Instagram, right? So you got to come, and there's never a better time to start than now, because the whole world has gone digitally, especially what happened during the COVID times. People got addicted. People even got more addicted to the devices.
Oh,
right?
That's such a good point. Yes.
Yeah. So you have to be online on social media, and these are the things that will differentiate you in 2021. It's exciting times ahead, right? So learn this knowledge, marketing and branding, and websites, and all this other stuff I spoke about.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually really good advice there, and I'm glad that I completely agree with you. Website is definitely number one, isn't it? Like that, and then obviously all the other things to follow.
Correct. In the last 6 weeks, we are in the second week of December. In the last 6 weeks, I have had 290 new patients in my practice.
Wow. 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Now, the reason I say that is not that I'm anything greater than anyone else, but the reason is that my marketing strategies are in place. And I'm always, by the way, I'm always improvising myself as well, because we are all in this learning journey of life where we adapt, we become better in different strategies, right? But I had 290 leads phone calls coming into my practice, right? We had a conversion rate close to about 83% this time, right? Which is still great. But the point was that just to get that phone ringing 290 times by new patients takes a unique way of strategy, right? Now, this is what I ask dental practice owners and the friends we meet. Don't you want another 20, 30, 40 new high-end patients ringing your practice? Who doesn't want that, right? And it's all this is fun. If you're a business owner, it's a fun game, right? You got to have a game plan, and then it's a fun game, right? So, but you learn, please, every 2021, guys, don't slack off. Just so much exciting things coming.
So definitely, if anyone is sort of short of patience, which I think majority of us probably are, we need to come and see you. 31st of January.
It's just not me, Becky. It's understanding and asking yourself sometimes as a business owner, why am I not getting X number of patients a month? I want to see 50 new patients a month. Have I met that target? I'm sitting on 20, 25. Have I met that target? If not, then as we have all learned, the right question to ask is, what do I need to do? to get that 20, 30 new. Just ask the right question, and then you become resourceful.
Yes.
Compared to what? Complaining and criticizing. Economy is tough, and COVID's happened, and this happened, that has happened. No, ask yourself, like, if there are patients out there, we all know that. I mean, all of us have got suddenly very busy in the last few months, right? So there are patients there, but someone's getting more, someone's getting less. It is a little bit of a competitive, healthy war, but it's a war. You gotta hunt for it. You gotta put yourself out there. You gotta strategize.
Yeah, excellent. All right, we're going to move on because there's so many great questions here. Now, there is actually someone in the audience that's actually posted up and they've asked. They're saying that they're struggling to get staff right now, and this was actually my next question to you. So that's perfect timing. So at the moment, as we know, dentistry is booming. All of a sudden, everyone's getting really busy. And I also know that there are a lot of practices, as you would know yourself, on social media, lots and lots of advertisements. You go on, there's so many advertisements at the moment, and people advertising for whether it's dentists, OHTs, hygienists, dental assistants, you name it. How do we position our practice in such a way so that we can maximize, more candidates applying and actually accepting and potentially accepting, a position with us as a dental practice owner?
I've seen a couple of people posting some great ads, by telling them who they are. Most of the ads I've seen is more towards what's in it for the practice rather than what's in it for the applicant. So it's more the reform rule, what's in it for me. I think, first of all, your projection should be, what are you going to benefit by joining us? How are you going to grow by joining us? Now, some of you do it. I'm not saying that you don't do it in the ads and all that. So maybe just position it in the right way. This particular question is a tough question because it is. I know that I've seen it in social media where a lot of people are in the process of hiring new candidates. Either it's a provider or a team member, right? And you just it's a funny you say that, because I was looking for another member of my team to join just my other businesses, and I got 900 applicants in 2 days.
Oh my goodness!
900 applicants, which was like crazy, right? And most of them were from the traveling industry and the hotel industry and the cruise ship industry and the airline industry and all these kind of industries, right? Because most of them have been made redundant, and some of these have got great 7-star, or what I want to call 7-star, at least a 5-star customer service skills, So for team members, I personally feel dentistry or dental nursing can be taught very quickly. Practice management can be taught very quickly. When I say very quickly, within a period of 1 or 3 months. But finding that right candidate with the right attitude, right, who believes in your vision, is what you need in your practices. So focus on that. I mean, I don't have much to say on particularly in this question, but just focus on that.
It's a tough one though, but I think you're definitely right. Focusing on what's in it for them. What are you going to?
What's in it for them? Yeah, and get them to believe in your vision and hire on attitude. Remember, that's my always number one philosophy: hire on attitude. Everything else can be taught. Everything else can be taught, right? And may I also add this: learn leadership skills, because most of team members also are leaving because of lost leaders more than anything else, right? So leadership skills is one skill every dentist, every practice owner needs to learn. It's not something you are taught. We are not taught this, but there's a particular way you can become a great leader, and so learn these skills.
Yeah, no, that's actually very, very good advice. Yeah. All right, I'm going to jump on to the next question. So how can we better utilize, this is going back to marketing now, how can we better utilize our team members to help us with marketing? Is there anything that we can do to utilize our team members to help us with the marketing?
Yes.
Just getting them involved in things. Yeah.
Definitely. So first of all, in your meeting you have, in your marketing meeting you identify the players who want to play in the social media game. right? Because I, like in my practice, I have some people who are not interested really in involving themselves. That's okay. Not everyone has to be in every branch of the practice growth, right? So I have a couple of team members who said, yeah, we don't mind getting involved. And these guys want to take videos, want to take photos. So my point number one is that photos and videos every single day.
Single day.
Every single day. Every single day. You don't have to post everything, but take people in action. Like right now, what are we all getting? Christmas hampers. Christmas hamper. So we are celebrating every Christmas hamper we're getting here, right? And the team is loving it because everyone's just getting fat, right? Feeding off all the munchies, right? But it's a fun time of the year. It's a festive. That's why we call a festive season, right? It's festive season. It's a fun time. So capture those fun moments, right? Remember, your branding means what? Your patients or the public or the potential patients want to see the emotions of your practice. Remember, people get attracted to that, right? They want to come to happy places, right? So you got to capture all that. So get them to capture. Sometimes I even get my team to capture me, and you might have seen some of my posts. Well, I am doing a procedure, right? So you take action photos, you take celebration photos, you take I'm sure all of you are celebrating birthdays of your team members as well. You take those photos, night out photos, Christmas dinner photos. You take photos of your lab jobs which has come in. Just there's so much to take on every single day. You take photos of your technology, right? Because you can brand your technology. If you have a laser machine, I don't know, some CEREC or even a dental software, something, management tool. But then there are two parts to it. Every time you take these photos, the second biggest part to it is the copy. What do you write in that copy? Because the copy is where it's words. The picture says or the video says something, which is very important. Then the copy, people like reading the copy. So what is your message, right? There is a formula. Let me just get this 1 second. There is a formula I have in here for my social media people. Look at this. It's called grabbing attention, creating interest, creating desire, and then taking an action. I've got a whole formula here. So this is me doing my formula. I use my own formula every time I do social media. So why am I showing you this? Again, saying that social media, as you asked me, is a subject where we need to learn it.
Yes.
Right? Most people think it's about taking a photo and posting it. No, there's more to it. There are different kind of posts where you are looking at people to what we call awareness posts, and then we are engagement posts, and then you're selling them something like what your services are. So you need to identify who you're posting to. Then there's something called paid post. What money are you putting in social media, Facebook and Instagram, to boost all these posts? By the way, I say all this once again because I'm teaching all this in the seminar. I'm holding in. And if you want more knowledge, come and attend the seminar, or at least pick a book and learn it. Knowledge is out there. We all know that knowledge is out there. But if you just want to fast track, I teach everything in the seminar.
Yeah, excellent.
Good. I hope that helps.
Very, very good advice. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Kinnar. And so the next question I have is, I want to talk about shoppers, because as you know, like you said before, there's more and more people that are going to be financially struggling, if not already, because of the COVID-19. And, shoppers have always been a big, topic for dental practices. What should people be saying to shoppers right now on the phone, over the phone? So what should the receptionists or the, the front office coordinators, what should they be saying to make sure that we can somehow get the shoppers to book in and actually turn up? That's probably the other one, because sometimes they might book on the spot because they might feel bad about saying no, but then they don't actually turn up on the day.
Okay, 3 points. Point number one, most, if not all your patients know the prices of things. If you ask a patient, because if a patient doesn't wake up in the morning and just decide, you know what, I feel like having my teeth whitened. No, it doesn't happen. They've been thinking that for a while. The patient doesn't happen thinking that, I think I've got a missing tooth for the last 10 years. I need an implant now. No, they will search it. So more like all of us, we search. So right now, when you search cost of implant, it shows on Google straight away. So most of your patients already know an approximate range of a treatment, right? That's number one. Number two, the reason people are called shoppers is because they're finding out whether you are the person they want to choose to do business with. Super important to understand that.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Number three, you have to have a script. Telephone answering is a skill. I mean, I could practice one with you right now, but if I just go ring, ring, and you were the patient and said, hey, I'm just calling to inquire, what do you guys charge for an implant or for a crown? I need to run you through a script, right? I'll give you an example. If you were to call me and say, how much do you guys charge for an implant, for example, or for a crown, right? I will never answer that till I satisfy three criteria first. One is called engagement. Second one is called empathy. And the other one is called endorsement. For example, Becky calls me and I'm the receptionist. Do you want to do a quick call, Becky?
Let's do that. Yep,
let's do
it.
it. You can have an example quick, okay? So ring, ring.
Yeah.
You
Hi, I made an inquiry and I'm just wondering how much a crown would cost.
Cool. Remember, by this time, I welcomed you to Smart Concepts. This is Kinnar speaking. Fantastic. Sure, certainly I can help you with that. May I know your name, please?
Yeah, it's Becky.
Hi, Becky. How's your day been today?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
So, Becky, I just wanted to quickly ask you, why are you looking to getting an implant done?
Yeah, so I've got this tooth that's missing and I've been told that, the implants are probably the best thing out there.
Right, and that's important to you, right? Getting this tooth fixed? Yep. All right, and tell me, Becky, is there any other reason you're looking into getting an implant done?
Well, I suppose I'm starting to eat more on the other side. And yeah, I just worry that maybe something's going to start damaging the other side if I don't do something about the missing tooth.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Becky. Well, thank you for sharing that. But Becky, just a quick thing about our practice. I just wanted to let you know that Dr. Shah here, who was working at Smart Concepts, has been working for the last 20 years, has been doing implants for the last 20 years. We also have something called digitally placed implants. I'm not sure whether you've heard of that, but it's a new technology where we use to place implants in a digital way. And lastly, of course, we offer our patients here payment plans as well. I just wanted to tell you that information. Now, coming back to your question, Becky, you called today asking how much an implant is. Then I'll take you through that.
I like that.
Did you see that? So the goal is to always answer that question, never make them feel like a fool that they've called, because that's what people wants to know in approximately what your clinic is charging. But at the end of the day, that first 60 to 120 seconds while you're having that 2 minute of conversation before you give them the answer is where you want to capture them by your tone. You want to capture them by your service over the phone. And you want to emphasize, meaning also asking. Imagine you called and, hey, can you just tell me how much the cost of an implant is? Sure, I can help you with that. Our implants range between $2,000 and $5,000. Boom, I've given you the information. I didn't even connect with you.
Yeah.
Did you see that? So there is a script. By the way, just to show you, this is the script I show, the whole telephone script.
Yeah.
But you can see it's all here at my front desk because my team has to be trained. Can you imagine if I'm getting all this, spending this much money and getting all these new patients calling in and they don't book in, right? As a business owner, that's bad news.
It is.
So your teams have to be trained in answering calls, shoppers or even non-shoppers, or even someone asking for information. They're called shoppers because they're asking for information shopping.
Yeah. So over the phone, would your receptionist tell them eventually what the cost is? They don't just say come in for a consult.
No.
And then quote them.
No. Put them in your shoes.
Yes.
If you were to call someone and you know that you need to get something done and there are multiple choices, not just one dental practice, multiple things to buy a dress from or something, you may want to ask them, just can you tell me how much this particular piece of item is or this particular piece of service is? You want to, by the way, you never give them exact price. In my price, it would be, we would say our implants range anything from 4 to 6.5. Our crowns range anything from, I don't know, $1,200 to $2,500, whatever that is. But you do give them something.
Yeah.
And if they say, why is there a big range? Then you can say, well, it depends on where the tooth is, what material are you after. You kind of put 2 or 3 hints in there, but that it's not as easy. It's like me saying, how much is it for a car service? Hang on, there's a lot of things to do in a car service, right? But yes, my point is you do give them a price, but not initially. You got to run them to the 3, the 3 things: engagement, empathy, endorsing, and then you tell them. By that time, you've connected with them for 2 to 3 minutes at least.
Yeah. No, that's
and by the way, did you also see that any phone call that come cost related, I mentioned the word payment plans?
Yes.
right? So I subliminally, this is all now language. I subliminally tell you or the patient in their mind that, all right, okay, these guys do offer payment plans.
Yeah.
So I just threw that in the endorsement bit.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. That's actually really gold advice there. Okay, so next question, moving on. I know you advocate for a 7-star customer service. Can you give me a brief idea on everyone else as well? What is it and how's it different to 5 stars?
Have you ever
rather, how do you take it to the next level, I suppose? Yeah. Sorry.
Sure. I'm just trying to make this 7-star. Have you ever heard anyone speak about a dental appointment? Dentist or going to a dental practice is the last thing in people's mind in this world, right? No one wants to come to a dental practice unless if it's needed, right? Let's talk about the 99% of the population, right? Even we don't want to go to the dentist, right? Right? So how many people do you expect that they're going to talk about you guys? No one likes bringing the subject of dentistry or dental work being done unless it's bad. They'll talk about it, right? 10 times more. So the 7-star service basically means that they go and rave about you. They're like, wow. And they don't rave about the clinical part. They will rave about how you make them feel different, how you make them feel joyful. I mean, most of us would agree that nowadays there's a lot of anxiety, stress, economic stress, financial stress, job stress, family stress, health stress, a lot of stresses in this world. So many people are more on a downer than an upper on a daily basis. If they come to your practice, spends half an hour, an hour, and you make them feel wow when they leave, that's 7-star experience.
Yeah.
And just to add, I talk more about the 7-star experience, not 7-star service. Service is when you interact with people. Experience also means when they go to your website. That's a 7-star experience. Have you seen some restaurants have got crappy websites and some restaurants have got wow websites, right? You get that feeling, wow. Like you want to see, wow, this is a beautiful website. Same thing like that. So 7-star also is over the telephone. When we run the scripts and the tone you use, that's 7-star. So 7-star experience rather than 7-star service. Right now, this is a whole day seminar on this. There are about 10 steps I run through how to give that wow service and the wow experience. But the point I'm trying to make is also basically the bottom line is that how you make people feel is far more important than doing a good filling or a good crown prep, right? It's how you make them feel. By the way, do we all agree no one knows what crown prep you've done? No one knows what filling you've done. No one knows your actual artwork you've done. Unless it's cosmetic, they will see. Even like when you're doing veneers, people don't see your preps. They will see the veneers.
That's right.
Right? So like we need to all think like that, that it's the experience we give. What do you guys do once you deliver, once you do clear aligners, orthodontics, once you do big treatment plans? Do you gift your patients something? Do you surprise them with something? And this is all what 7-star experience is about.
Yeah, wonderful. I love that. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so my next question is, if teams have the goal to have the 7-star experience, how do we make sure that the patient's experience is consistent? How does your team consistently deliver this? That's probably a massive question.
No, it's not actually. It's a very simple one because it's team alignment. Your team will only deliver 7-star experience if they believe in your vision and they're inspired by you. Period. So most people come and ask me, most dentists come and ask me, Kinnar, I've done this seminar with you and I've done that. I've watched these videos and I've get them to attend this thing about 7-star experience and giving them the best service, but they're not motivated to do it. That's the question kind of you asking me. And how do you inspire? You don't need to. You inspire them on a daily basis. You inspire them on a daily. Leadership is all about inspiration on a daily basis, right? You guide them right? Now, remember, at the same time, no one's a perfectionist. You should never aim for perfectionism. You're never going to get 100%. My rule is always 80-20. As long as 80% of the times it's getting employed and getting deployed, good. We compliment our team members for that. We reward our team members for that, right? So 80-20, be a bit lenient, but at the same time, more, remember, they follow by example as well. So you got to be doing it. The dentist, the dental practice owners, the dentists have to be doing it, right? Show by example, lead by example, inspire by example.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
That's very good. Yeah. You actually answered my next question, because I was going to say, how do you get team buy-in? But I'm guessing that's what it is. How do you get team buy-in and accountability to execute that customer experience?
Correct. So team buying. So let's just break it down a little bit, but in that question a bit more. Make sure, first of all, you're investing in their education. So you're actually telling them that you're not doing this for the growth of the practice. You're doing it for them.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they leave one day, it's okay. You played your part in helping them grow.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes I get caught by dentists saying that, okay, I'm investing in you so you can come and help and grow this practice. No, it's not just about that. It's about helping them grow, right? So invest in them. Number two, make sure you're complimenting them on a regular basis, right? All human beings love compliments, so compliment your teams, right? Number three, inspire them every day by doing something special, right? By telling them a story, by telling them an incident, what has happened. Learn the art of inspiration. I use these 3 words called inspire, influence, and impact. Think about this. And the reason I talk about those words is that we human beings only know how to communicate with each other. That's it. That's how we relate to each other. We wouldn't be doing this if I didn't know how to communicate, right? So, but communication is threefold. The words I say, the way I use my hands and my gestures and my posture, so verbal, visual, and the way I use my tone, right? So you need to become a master of all these 3. Then, so leadership is part of that as well, right? So you need to know how to use the tone, when to use the tone, how to have conflict resolution, right? How to have team alignment, team vision, team belief systems, team strengths. There's so much to do in the teamwork, but getting them involved, bottom line, get them involved, make them feel a part of your practice. They are not there to do a JOB, which stands for just over broke, right? So they're not there to do JOB. Make them feel like they own it.
Yeah.
Right. I usually tell my team members, when you go out there, don't say you work at Smile Concepts. Tell them you're part of Smile Concepts. Or tell them you own Smile Concepts. I don't care what you say. Yeah, but that's because remember, they're spending 80% of the waking hours, with you, with the practices.
Absolutely.
Get them a sense of ownership. Get them a sense of feeling that they're part of a bigger picture and not just treatment. They're part of a bigger picture. It's a community. It's a team culture. It's a family. Right? It's a big subject, Becky. You've asked me some brilliant question, and this particularly comes down to what? Learn leadership skills.
Yes.
Skills. Once a year, I run this program. I don't know when I'm running it next, but it's so important to learn this leadership skills.
I think that answers one of the questions in the audience. And I know we're not really taking questions at the moment, but someone has said here, how and where do you start learning being a leader? As there are many things out there, and obviously it can get very confusing. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a leadership coach, and the way I became a coach, I'll tell you that, is because I attended a lot of leadership seminars, read about 15 leadership books, right? So bottom line is that I distilled all this information together with embedded communication, because remember, we lead by communicating with people, the visual, verbal, and vocal, this is what I teach in the seminars. So remember, leadership is all about making habits, forming habits, right? For example, in the morning, how are you showing up when you open the door? That's a habit. If you're not pumped, if you don't come in the morning, if you're not pumped, if you're not excited being in your own practice, right? Being a dentist working in a practice, imagine what the team is going to feel. Like, all right, Kinnar's come down, so we are okay to feel like that as well. Lead by example. So even if I'm having a shitty morning, before I enter the door, I leave the baggage out there and I come and change my state. I come and change my attitude, right? So these are the things and habits I have learned over place. I was never like this, but it's over time you build slowly and slowly and slowly. Every one of us has the potential to do it.
Yep. No, that's good. I've just had someone make the comment. They said, BLC is still my favorite. What's BLC stand for?
Business, leadership, and communication.
Okay.
Back in the day, I used to run a 2-day seminar business. Now it's all different. Business is different. Leadership is different. Communication is like 3, 4 modules. Leadership is 2 modules. It's huge because you can't cover everything in 1 or 2 days. Leadership is huge. I love teaching leadership because it actually defines your character. Remember, once you know the habits you need to form in life, it's not just work. You change in front of your family, in front of your friends, in front of the community. You become mad, which are what I call making a difference. You go out and make a difference, a bigger difference.
Mad. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, we are all going mad probably. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead and I'll come back to this question because I know you just touched on it. You were talking about tonality and body language because I know I can see we're going to start running out of time very soon. I don't want to miss any important things. Can you talk a little bit about what's important about our body language and tonality in two different settings? So the first one is with patients, or actually talk about that later, but firstly, as a leader, what sort of things should we be looking out for in terms of our tonality and body language as a leader?
Okay, so...
Oh, hang on, wait, Kinnar. The other thing is, sometimes it's okay to, it is easier to learn what we say, but how we say it and what we look like while we're saying it, that's probably the hard part because we don't necessarily see ourselves doing it, if that makes any sense. So like, how do you improve on that?
Okay, so there are 2 parts to that question. Let me answer the first part. The first part is like me saying, Becky, I really admire what you're doing right now and having this organizing this bit of a value-adding seminar, value-adding show over the net. Or I could say, hey, Becky, it's really awesome that you really put this up, and look at the same words, different tone, right? So tone changes everything in how you say it. Have we not all faced with our partner, someone says, oh, yeah, I love you, don't I love you, right? Compared to, you're not congruent with saying it the proper way, right? So tonality, remember, to be honest, there was a study done by Professor Merabian, which basically said the words are less than 6-7%. 60-65% is body language of communication. 60-65% of body. Have you ever gone to a party or to a restaurant and suddenly, or even a party or a family meetup, and suddenly you can already sense something's not right?
Yep.
Every one of us is why? It's not an intuition. It's because of the body language. Your subconscious picks your body language very fast, right? So 65% of body language. Another close to 25-30% is vocal, the tone, the pitch, the temper, right? So that's, and the only 5-7% is words, language, right? Now, has it also not happened? How many times has it happened that you have been speaking to a group of friends on a dinner or a social, and within 1 or 2 minutes, you're zoning out. You're thinking about what other stuff you're thinking of. Has it happened to you? Happens. You know how many times that happens? 80% of the times in conversations. 80% during the day. So literally people have less and less attention spans nowadays of the words. So if you are not expressing yourself, being there, learning this art of expressing tone, changing your tone in different ways, that's what I mean, that you're not communicating effectively. Most people are communicating at about 20, 25, 30% capacity. Can you imagine if they took that to 80, 90%? By the way, case conversion depends on that. And case conversion depends on using these 3 V's, as I call it, the visual, vocal, and verbal, right? Even your patients, like sitting there in front of you, already a bit of anxiety and anxious, right? A bit stressed. And you're spending about 45 minutes, 50 minutes in a consult. It's a no. Nowadays, I advise that the verbal, visual, vocal consult should not be more than 15, 20 minutes. Because all in that 20 minutes, they're deciding whether they like you, know you, or trust you, and they're going to do business with you or not. Right? Because nowadays, they're spoiled with choice. So your language patterns, your vocal, your expressions, the way you move your eyes, your head, everything counts. And not only that, the way you read their language patterns. There are many times which I teach in one of my communication seminar. Actually, it's coming the GPS seminar, where you can actually, you may be keeping on describing a solution to a problem the patient has, and you'll see the patient just going like that, but they're zoned off, right? Because we've all done that. How many times have you done that? That you're just going, yeah, and you're zoned off. You're thinking of the next thing you're about to say, right? So communication, by the way, is the number one skill to become successful in life, which is, again, the ability to influence, inspire, and impact people. By the way, what are we doing with our patients, new patients? When a patient comes with missing teeth or wanting a smile makeover or straighten their teeth, we are literally getting them, inspiring them to choose you, to inspiring them to get the treatment done, right? So you have to have the ability to do that. And we, as dentists, are not taught that in university. So learn it.
That's very good. Sorry, that's my computer there. Okay, yeah, no, that's very, very good. You spoke about building rapport. I think with building rapport, just very briefly, can you go into that a little bit more? How do you build rapport with your patients very quickly?
Okay, so I call it
rapport. It's not very long for a consult. 15 minutes is not very long for a consult.
I call it rapport by design. This is the GPS formula, the case conversion, the most advanced formula probably in the world, because I've created it. I'm joking. I say that with because it's got components of visual, verbal, and vocal. All three components have to be used in that formula, which is why it's an amazing. I mean, hundreds of dentists have used this so successfully by now. The fastest way, first and foremost, is this bit here. I call the engage. I don't know whether you can read that. It's called state, style, smile. So remember, I always say your energy introduces you before you even open your mouth.
Wow.
Right? Your energy. So when a patient is sitting in the room, maybe like in my case, I get a nurse to bring the patient in. I'm not there. I usually go about 60 to 120 seconds later. So it's called an acclimatization process, where the patient is scared already. Now they're called in. It's almost like you're called in for your surgery, right? So they're already a little bit more anxious coming into a treatment room they've never seen. Now, if you have been ever to a hospital or anywhere, what's the first thing you do when you call into a room? You're not even half listening to the nurse. You're just looking at, all right, what tools am I seeing? What equipment am I seeing? So that is why I advise dentists never to take new patients. I'm talking about new patients, never in. You never take your new patients in. You get them to acclimatize for 2 minutes with your nurse. So your nurse can have small talk while they get acclimatized. Then when you come in what I call charged. You come up with that energy. No, I'm not talking about being a clown and laughing your way in, right? I'm talking about just bringing that energy and aura where your patient can see, oh my God, the doctor is here, and the way he introduced himself, boom, straight away you build authority, credibility, and expertise. So that's the first thing you do. And that also how you smile, how you introduce yourself, and the state of mind you're in, like I said, the energy, right? So that's the first bit. And then instantly you're asking them, so Mr. or Mrs. Jones, how may I serve you today? How may I help you today? Then within the first 2 to 4 minutes, you ask them the series of these 4 questions where you build deep rapport with them instantly. So I teach a way where you can build what I call rapport by design within the first 3 to 5 minutes. And I'm talking about the deepest rapport you'll have. So much so, and it's so freaky, right? I might say this, that when I started first using all this kind of tools, I had people saying yes to me in like 7 to 10 minutes. All right, let's go ahead. Right? Because remember, if somebody's coming for an implant, right? All right, if somebody's coming an implant, have they researched it? Of course they have. They've almost kind of made a decision that they want to get an implant done. Now, so much so that they're coming in for a consult. If they say no to you, that just means they're going somewhere else. Does that make sense? So this is the chance for you to show or rather showmanship. You have to come up across with all these skills. Build rapport by design.
Yeah, I love that.
I'll add one more thing, Becky. I'll add one more point. There's also something called knowing if your patient is more visual, more auditory, more kinesthetic. And in that second to third or fourth minute, you easily find out and you match their language. You match their views on what the treatment is. So this case conversion formula, I have this GPS, It's a very simple formula, but the reason I tell dentists to learn that is that we all know our clinical stuff. It's time to learn great communication skills to get more acceptance, basically.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Very quickly, I don't know if this is going to be a massive, just opening up another massive topic, but how do you identify whether they are an audio or a kinesthetic or a visual person?
That's a massive topic. Okay.
Come to your course.
They're about almost close to 5 to 7 ways. The simple ones are even just the language they use. For example, visuals may use more words like "I see." It shines this light on me. It was very bright. I was very focused. All these are visual words. Kinesthetic people will be more like, oh yeah, I felt this, and it kind of felt tender or touch or pressure, all of that kind of. So you can see it in the language. So by the way, so there are 4 series of questions you have to ask in this case conversion, which allows you to listen to what they're saying, and you can figure out what representational system, are they visual, are they auditory, or the kinesthetic. Also looking at the eye movements. Visuals will be more looking up, auditory will be more looking side, kinesthetic will be more down, right? So these are just 2 quick ways I've shared in this, but it's a whole topic, Becky. But the funny thing is, it's not a hard topic. It's a very, like, come on, we guys are all dentists, right? We pick up the stuff really fast. And this is a very simple thing to learn. It's just that you need to learn it and acknowledge it, just in how we can apply it in our case consultations, and how you can apply it with your team members as well. It'll be funny to say some of your team members are visual, so your leadership skills are visual. You have to kind of inspire them more visually, then more auditory, more kinesthetic. It all comes down to, again, communication. All this is communication, right? So it's a fascinating subject. I just wish every dentist would aspire and learn advanced communication skills, right? Including NLP and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Really fantastic. So, Kinnar, with regards to all these different aspects that needs to be put together, I'm sure, as practice owners, we need to, stay on the pulse of the practice. What is your tip on how do we maintain a bird's eye view of the business that we're in?
Dashboard.
On a regular basis.
So we have something in our practice called a dashboard. A dashboard is just one piece of A4 size paper like this, which the team members record about 7 to 10 things on it. Examples. Number 1, how many new patients did we get? So imagine topic of new patients. So how many new patients did we get this in? So we are right now in December, right? 15th, almost mid-December. So they will now prepare a report for November. So usually by this time they have a report for November. How many patients did we see for November? Out of these many patients, how many were cosmetic? How many were implant? How many were aligners? How many were general dentistry? How many were wisdom teeth? How many were emergency? Blah, blah, blah. So just mark it down, right?
Yeah.
The second, then they say, where did most of these patients come from? So I've got Google Analytics already. I have my telephone. So by the way, how many patients called? How many patients booked? Can you imagine being a practice owner and not knowing that? Right? Like when I ask practice owners, how many new patients do you see a month? And some people say, I see 30, I say 40. My next question is, and how many do you miss out on? They can't answer that question because they don't know how many have not been converted. They only know how many patients they saw. So imagine if your conversion is 50% on the telephone. That means they've seen 30 patients, but they've missed out on another 30, 40 patients. Now, that is painful as a dentist practice owner, isn't it? That's painful, right? This is where you start waking up and say, I need to get my team trained, and my front team trained in this kind of stuff, right? So again, coming back to the dashboard, how many phone calls were converted? Then I have income, total income of the practice in November, income by a provider. So the reason I'm saying all this to you is that it takes them a bit of recording, but I have trained my team to give me that dashboard so my brothers and I can sit down every mid-month to analyze last month of where we did good, where we did bad, where we need to improve, what do we need to increase our budget anywhere, do we need to do any more training, because we need to have a eagle's eye view or a bird's eye view, like you say, every month, not at the end of the year when the accountant says, give me your accounts, right? And you're like, oh shit, what have I done now, right? Let me see where I am. Every month, what separates a practice owner and a practice operator. Most people fall into practice operators. They inside the business, not looking outside the business. So it's a very simple thing. It just needs a bit of training from your team. It's not difficult. And don't go micro detail, big details, macro picture. Macro patient, macro. Keep a bit more macro.
Yes. So talking about micro and macro, I know a lot of dentists like to micromanage.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that? Do you think there are times in dentistry where we should be micromanaging, or you think it's not a good thing?
Just get a life. Get a life. Okay. Let me tell you this. I used to micromanage back in the day. It affected me the most. Yeah, I was down. I was depressed. Probably I was, just couldn't sleep because I was, when we micromanage, we worry a lot. We get anxious a lot. We worry a lot. Why? Instead, I tell dentists, work on yourself the most, then you work on your job.
Yeah.
Think about that. Work on your leadership. Become a great leader. So much so that now I don't even know what happens in my practice anymore. Like my team manages everything. I'm reached that stage where, it feels good then. It feels, for us, the practice owners, it feels good because now I don't have to stress about anything. Once a month, I have a meeting about the whole practice and how it's performing, how it's operating, but everything is managed by the team. Yes, one couple of days a month, there's some issues, the team comes and they want some advice, we fix it. But micromanaging will kill you faster than a bullet. And practice owners, we are already stressed generally, right? So work on yourself, become a better human being, become a better person with a great character, leadership, communication skills, and overall how to grow your business. Focus on how to grow your business rather than, because that's another thing. When we micromanage, we forget on the growth of the business, but we are putting sellotape in small things, and everyone is getting frustrated and painful. It's painful.
Yeah.
So get a life. Stop micromanaging, guys. Just work on yourself the most. That would be my advice.
So if you were to, well, you obviously do, on your team, you would have, managers or practice managers or leaders within your team. What do you expect of your practice managers? What are they 3 things that you would expect from them that they have been successful in their role?
So every person in my practice has a list of roles. About close to 60-70% is a role by themselves. The other 20-30% is overlapping roles between other people. So yes, I have someone who's we call her the elderly in my front team, who is the practice manager. We never label that in front of everybody else. We just no titles. Titles for what? Right, titles, because I just feel everyone, like I've got 4 team members who sit in my front lounge, right, in my front team, right. I don't like to call it the front team; it sounds like the front furniture, right? But right, but there are 4 team members, and every one of them plays an equal role. However, there's one of them who is kind of the head, right? But at the same time, she's got roles. All the other have got roles. The back team has got roles. Someone is in roles of ordering systems. Someone is in a role of checking all the labs in and out. Someone's in the role of taking records, photographs, all this kind of stuff. Everyone has got roles. Like I said, 60-70% is fixed roles, kind of fixed roles, 20-30% overlapping. But the beauty is when you build a culture, when you are a great leader, when you build a culture, it takes time, by the way. It doesn't happen overnight, because remember, you are not going to become the best overnight, but you will become great than yesterday and the month before if you learn these skills and the leadership skills and the character building skills. You will see your team playing roles like that. They will help each other out. I have never heard someone complaining, I don't know in how many years now, oh, she's not helping me there, or she's not helping me there. I don't even know. That's what I said. I don't even know. They just fix it. And that is the culture you want to build. And a lot of dentists ask me, how, and quite a few dentists I know, many dentists who have been to my practice have seen this. How do you build this? I said, you don't build them, you build you. You build you, they follow.
Yeah.
Right? And that is my biggest biggest lesson for everyone today who's listening, and we're coming to the end of 2020. Don't make your 2021 the same character you are right now in 2020. It's an opportunity for you to really grow yourself, work on you, your leadership skills, your communication skills, um, your personal public speaking skills, your advanced NLP skills. These are the skills which will take you to places. You can inspire your kids by then. You can be a great leader in front of them, in your family, your partner, your community. All of us can make some huge differences in people's lives. So let's do it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think, if when you are a better leader at work, you're actually a better leader at home as well. In all
Yeah.
transfers.
Yes. I mean, even simple things like how many of you are more reactive than responsive. It's one of the things we teach in leadership, right? That how to increase the space between being stimulus and response, right? Becoming more mindful in that space, right? And that's a character of a leader, that you don't just get worked up about anything that happens in this life of yours, right?
Yeah.
And also understanding that seasons are going to come. Seasons have been coming for hundreds and hundreds of years, right? What was that program where they say winter is coming? What was that? The winter is coming. Anyway, there's a big series about that, right? And there was winter is coming, and we just faced the hardest winter human man, one of the men we have faced, which was this year in 2020. We call it the winter, but there are few of us who grew stronger, wiser, and who learned a lot of skills in this time, in this year, right? And the other lot who are more complaining and criticizing throughout the year, right? So don't make your 2021 like that. I mean, whatever's happened has happened. This is a chance that, I always tell people, no one admires or really cares about your journey as much as you will, right? This episode may finish today. We will still go and do our own different things, right? But at the end of the day, you are in charge of your own life. So design it. Design your destiny. Design your destiny.
Okay, I have two last questions for you. I probably snuck in quite a few extra ones.
Sure, always.
So, second last one is, what's one habit that you do daily to ensure that your team is working with you collaboratively and that you're leading them the best way you can?
I follow something called the 5 C's, which I spoke to you about earlier. I do one of these C's on pretty much every team member every day. As, by the way, I'm here 2-3 days a week in my own practice, so I get to spread that. The 5 C's, and quickly, one, you compliment them, right? You make them feel that they're competent. So you compliment them, you make them feel you're competent, right? You make them feel that they're contributing to the practice, right? You make them feel they're connecting to each other. Remember, connection is a very big part of team members, because 80% of their waking hours are spending towards the practice. Even commuting and off commuting is part of a way and towards the practice, and giving them choice. So 5 C's I employ on a daily basis as a habit, to making sure that my team feels that they're aligned with me and the whole practice, right? It's never my way or the highway. It's not, remove that from your vocab, right? That should never be there. It's all about our way. How are we going to grow? And by the way, what at the end of the day, what do we want as practice owners? We want growth. We want to be more profitable, right? We want to be doing the kind of work we love to do, right? I posted the question on the other day, what procedure do you guys hate doing, right? And everyone was posting in Denteapreneurs, right? But to me, I only like 10% of procedures nowadays, right? Like I only doing this much of dentistry, and that's what I'm passionate about, and I've designed my life so that I can do that much, and that's it, right? And everything can be outsourced to my associate dentist and etc. So we want better growth, better passion about our jobs, because it can get monotonous if you're not doing the work you enjoy doing, right? We want to make sure that we come here and it's a fun environment. How many times do practice owners go to the practices and they leave, and or sometimes they're driving to the practice, oh shit, another day at the work, right? So some practices like that. So these are the things we want. And how do we get that? By making sure that our engine, which is our team is the engine, is led in the right way, and 5 C's are operated every day. So these 5 C's.
Excellent.
So that's one habit.
Yeah, that's a very good habit. And it sounds simple. Simple, but I'm sure it still takes time. And, it is definitely a habit that you need to form.
When I started first doing this back in the day, I had an alarm in the morning, like it was something like 8:30 in the morning, and all the alarm kept reminding me in the morning is 5C, 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 right? I had the 5C in my mind, all just 5Cs in the mind, and I now memorize it. Did you see when you asked me the question? I know my 5Cs. So any time of the day, I can pull that tool out of my pocket. All right, maybe this person I'm going to compliment today. This person I may give them a choice. This person I'm going to make them feel that they're contributing as part of this practice. It's not difficult. It just needs to be done for that 1 month, right? And then you just fall into the habit like anything else, right? It's just a 30 to 60 days you do it, and it forms a habit, which is what I said earlier. Leadership is all about forming habits.
Yes, I love that. That's very, very true. Yeah. So before I move on to the very last question, it's probably a loaded question.
That's
but
okay.
I just want to let the audience know that we are taking questions. Do we still have time? Do we have time to take questions very quickly for Q&A?
We have time. Let's make it here. So let's give it all.
All right. So if anyone's got any questions, please, type them in, and we can do that. And then, and then we can sort of go from there. But my very final question to you, Kinnar, is how do we fit it all in as leaders? What's your number one tip on time management to make sure that we are not overwhelmed?
There is a concept in the high performance industry, we call it more energy management and not time management.
Okay.
Enlighten me. So yes. Did you know in the corporate industry, it's been proven statistically that, most people have an 8-hour shift, right? From morning to evening. The work that they're supposed to do can be done in 2 to 3 hours.
I've heard of that.
So it's not time management, it's the energy they're spending. So you do something and then you relax and you go for a coffee and you do this. So think about that, and your whole perspective in your mind changes. How do I manage my energy, right? Throughout the day. Let's talk about just being entrepreneurs and practice owners throughout the day. How do I manage my energy? What do I need? What do I need to do in the morning to pump myself up? First of all, prepare for my day. Not even in the morning. The night before you prepare yourself, you visualize your day. It's all about getting that dream going on a daily basis. Every morning we do something called SAMAs. So I run this mastermind, and we have this acronym called SAMAs, which is silence, affirmation, meditation, exercise, reading, and scribing. It takes about 60 minutes to do that. Tony Robbins calls it the hour of power. Basically, all the legends and the giants of business in the business world spend the first hour and a half of the day on them, preparing. Because once you're prepared, boom, you're accelerating throughout the day. You're pumped, you're charged, right? That's one part, right? So energy. So build your energy in the morning, build your focus, build your vision. Then during the day, stay hydrated. Definitely a lot of hydration. Watch the foods you're eating at lunchtime, especially as well, right? That's a big one. That's a big one for me, because back in the day, chips and carbs and pastas used to go in, right? And then by 2-3 p.m., all of us are drowsy and this kind of stuff. So I've limited myself to 1 coffee a day, plenty of water, close to 3 liters of water every day. Multivitamins, take your multivitamins, right? Everyone with half a brain knows that multivitamins are very, very essential. I mean, we all in the medical field, so it's super, super important to understand that. So help you make sure you're exercising not 15 to 30 minutes a day, at least stretches in the morning, a bit of pumping yourself in there. So it's all about energy. Once you have the energy, your output can be more. Understand that concept. We have learned that in physics. The energy there, output is better. And when I say output, it's focused output. It's more disciplined output. It's a better, greater output, right? That means, you can do better cases. You can diagnose better. Imagine going and doing this GPS, right? Half-assed or half the energy. Doesn't work. I mean, potential $5, $10, $15, $20,000 treatment plans are not getting converted if your energy is down, right? Now, in terms of time and energy combination of management, you're going to be working. I also tell dentists, generally, dentists should not be working more than 4 days a week, right? For two reasons. Number one, if you're working more than it's a general rule, and I've spoken to thousands of dentists on this particular aspect. If you're working more than 4 days a week, you drained. You have this burnout. All of us have been there. You feel burned out, and what does that mean? It means you're not performing really well. You're not doing a great dentistry. You're doing good dentistry, but you're not doing great dentistry. And don't fool yourself if you're saying yes to that, right? We all know that. We've all been there, right? So I would say good 4-day production, good 4-day work, 32 hours of dentistry a week is perfect, so that your time is managed to operate on the business, especially for practice owners, right? Especially for practice owners. I mean, everyone I have coached so far in my life who has dropped a day has maintained the same income, or if not higher.
That's very
Eat
true.
that. Eat that. That is, and people get shocked. I said, are you sure? I said, try it. Of course, through the coaching I give them. But everyone, I think, Becky, you did that as well, right? I'm not sure, right?
The day I dropped my hours, my hourly rate went up.
There you go. And because you're fresher, you're more focused, you're more alert, and also you're then spending a bit more time in growing your business, right? And by the way, that needs to be done by all practice owners. They need to look at the 10 things in their business which will give them the exponential growth. If you guys haven't read my book by now, Christmas is coming, read it, right? And if you take 1 point, I can guarantee you'll put another 0 in front of your income, right? Right? But read it.
Yeah, it's a very good book. Very, very well written, Kinnar.
Have you read it, Becky, yet?
Yes, I have. To be honest, I haven't finished it, but I've started it.
Oh, cool. So you're going to finish it.
This holiday.
It's value packed, and once you read it, your mind will open up on what exactly you need to focus on growing an exponential business. By the way, I've written this book after multiple areas of failure in my life. So it's almost like this is borrowed experience. You're borrowing experience from me. You're avoiding the mistakes I've done. However, it's not just the tool that you need to use. You need to come and learn, like marketing, branding, case conversion, leadership, NLP. Learn this, guys. This, for me personally, this has boomed my success.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you are a true testament, and you walk the talk, obviously, and that's what people see.
Had a whole day of clinical day today, and I've got these next 2 days. Thursday, Friday is my last 2 days. But yes, I'm still a practicing dentist. I work close to 2.5 days a week, and I'm in the same boat as everyone else. It's just that we have that principle when we were growing up. Everyone used to say, it's not about working harder, it's working smarter, right? It's actually not. It's actually both. You got to work hard and you got to work smart till you reach a stage in life where there'll be more smarter, less harder, right? But that I'm still working. Like, how many times am I here? And many of the listeners may know, sometimes I'm here till 8, 9 in the evening, where I'm burning that oil to, I've got different missions in my life. So that's who I am.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And yeah, it's definitely worth it, isn't it? When you put in all that effort, you'll definitely reap.
Yeah, it's rewarding when you have like even 2021 right now, everyone should have bought one of those big calendars from Officeworks, right? It's called Sasco calendars, and just fill it in. I love putting my holidays first, so at least you feel like this is the time you're going to take off. But then I put my seminars in, my coaching, my training, my working days. Just plan yourselves out. Like, the least you could do is in 2021 get a calendar and plan yourself out, right? Plan 3 skills you want to learn. Plan 1 clinical skill you want to learn. Plan how many books you're going to read. And anyone who coaches under me or my SAM mastermind program reads 2 to 3 books a month, right?
Wow.
That's about 20, 30 books a year, right? And I had one of my seminars message me the other day. He's reading his 46th book this Christmas, right? This year, can you imagine how much knowledge and wisdom this person has now? That he is going to just, this person has already done phenomenal in the last 12 months in his business. 24 months in his business. But even from now, I know, remember, leaders are readers. The more you learn, the more you earn. These are the classical things I've learned from a lot of entrepreneurs in the world. So habits, form habits, good habits.
Yes.
Fun, make it fun. It's good.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the questions I've got for you. And we
Oh.
have seriously covered so much. Thank you so much. There's so much value in that. That's amazing. At the moment, I've got one question here, and I think this is probably potentially a loaded question too. So I'll put that up here as well. So Nimesh has asked, how do you find a great coach?
Nimesh is a close friend of mine. He's taking the piss. Nimesh, thank you for that question. Look, go to Facebook and search this guy up called Kinnar Shah, right? No. How do you find a great coach? Great coach is someone. I would say anyone who's looking for a coach and mentorship, have a conversation. Ask for a conversation for 10 to 15 minutes with a coach and a mentor you look up to. And in that 15, 20 minutes, you'll establish if you have a connection, right? Be open-minded, number one. Be open-minded, number two. Because remember, I usually preach this, that even the shittiest of the shittiest Olympian has a coach, right? And they're in the Olympics. I have never seen or hardly seen any real successful person without a coach. So a coach's duty or a mentor's duty is to show you the path, not necessarily walk the path with you, but show you the path, shine the light. I mean, Becky, we did this, right? And then you explode, right? And it's never a one-time thing. It's most of the times you got to have an ongoing thing, right? Because you got to keep inspired, you got to get motivated, you got to come with new ideas. There's quite a few masterminds I'm running next year, right? I mean, there's intense people who want to double or triple their growth. Reach out to me, and don't just reach out because you want to join. Reach out for a conversation first, right? We need to be a fit for each other, personally for me. But any coach or mentor you want to say, just have a feel, get that sense of feeling that this is the person who's going to help me, unbiased, and he's going to look out for the best of me. Like, I'm a very open book. By the way, this book is a very open book. I've shared so many secrets in it because I want dentists to be successful. One of my principles, or a leadership principle, or a spirituality principle nowadays, is that each one teach one. We all need to learn from each other. We cannot survive without each other. We come as a communion, we come as a community, and there's nothing better than helping each other grow, right? Never pull anyone down, and share. Our parents used to say this, Becky, the more you share, the more you will receive.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? It's so true. It is so true. So share, everyone share. Be open-minded. Be open to your techniques, your strategies. I'm open to my strategies with my competitors, right? The only difference, maybe I might outwork them. I might out-hustle them, right? Because I work hard. I work smart, but I'm always learning. I'm a learning machine. I'm still a learning machine, right? And that's something you want to look in a coach as well, that the coach is not taking a backseat in the sofa, right? They are learning as well. They're coming to you with, hey, let me share with you the next thing I've learned, and you're going to be excited about this, and they share that with you, and so proximity is power. Be surround yourself by proximity as well. These masterminds I run also. Can I talk about that a little bit, Becky?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to know, what sort of help you can offer the dental community.
All right, there are about 4 or 5 things I'm doing for helping dentists in different areas and where they are right now. My number one program, I would say, is something called SAM, and you must have heard it everywhere on social media. This word we use, SAMers. It's a close knit of family. Basically, what happens is there's only 20 people every year. They join in my mastermind, and I unleash the hell out of their potential, right? In everything to do with business, leadership, communication, public speaking, advanced way of inspiring and influencing people, all this kind of skills. So I teach you this, and I'll help you practice it on an ongoing over a year. So it's a year program. Think of it as a mastermind program over a year. People who have done this have spoken highly of it, but if you want to know more about it, it's best you speak with them because they've done it. It doesn't need to come from. So that's something called SAMS. It stands for Success Accelerator Mastermind. The other things I'm doing, and if you want to run individually, is just running seminars. I'm running everything's on my website, by the way. SAMS is not, but all my seminars are on my website, kinnarshah.com. If you go to the events page, I've got a marketing seminar coming. Becky, you probably will love that, by the way. A marketing seminar coming. It's also on social media. It's on video marketing. I'm talking about video marketing as well. I'm talking about what we call the patient value journey. Look at this, the patient value journey. I'm talking about, look at this, the 10 psychology tricks of Facebook ads. So I'm sharing so much value in that thing. That's in Brisbane. But all the events are on there. NLP. If you haven't done NLP, OMG, that's one of the things every dentist must do. Right? It opens your mind up on how people think, feel, and behave. If you can know how people think, feel, and behave, you have the ability to inspire and influence them much more easier. Right? Then the other way I'm doing is in-house programs. If anyone wants me to come and coach them exclusively, one-on-one with Kinnar in their practices, that program is called Destiny Design. I only take a handful of clients a year. Because it takes a lot of my time away, but it's my premium premium exclusive kind of thing. And what else do I do? That's and by the way, of course, I help people with their marketing. That's something I do as well. I don't have time to help everyone, but there's a certain number of clients who first come first serve basis. I help them with your websites. If you want some A-class amazing websites and influencing websites, you need to understand the purpose of a website is to get your phone ringing. That's your ultimate purpose of your website. So get that. Then if you want to help with PPC, SEO, social media marketing, all that kind of stuff, copywriting, blogs, I help them with everything. And the goal of that marketing is just to get more new patients in your practice, the high-end treatment plan patients, if you are interested in that. So this is what I do. I am a crazy. I am quite in your face when it comes to this. I'm not a soft coach, as you may have many of you know. I'm quite like, if you enter my sphere, I'm all about pushing you to be the best of you. That's it, to be the best of you. Because if you're the best of you, you're the best of your business. You're the best of your family. You're the best of your community. But you got to be the best of you. And that's what I do. And thank you, Becky, for allowing me to blab for the last few minutes and letting people know.
That's my absolute pleasure. Yeah, like, you've seriously given so much value tonight. I think I'm even going to go back and rewatch this whole live and start taking notes down. So yeah, no, it's been great. And I know, and I do apologize, we have run a little bit over time, but you know, it was really worth it. And I hope, you know, for all of you who have stayed on till the end, that you really got just as much out of this live as I have myself. So it's yeah, it's really, really a fantastic live to finish on. So thank you so much for your time, Kinnar. It's been amazing.
No, it's been a pleasure having some value added to, you know, your community, and it's of course super thank you to you to organize this. I know what it takes to organize such a thing, right? And we've been to and fro chatting with each other and organizing times, but yeah, just thank you to all the listeners who've been in there. I hope you learned something, and just have you know, just the last leaving words I want to say is that please be responsible in designing your destiny. Don't leave it in the hands of other people. You have the opportunity to design your own destiny and design it. That's it.
Very, very good. All right. Well, that's
Thank
it
you.
then. We're going to call it a night.
All right. Have
Thank
a fantastic Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. Becky, I will talk to you and connect you to one more time before New Year's. Love you all. Take care.
See you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.